There are emotions that rise like sudden rivers, fast, overwhelming, pushing us off balance before we even understand what is happening inside us. Many people try to control these emotions only with the mind, arguing with themselves internally, as if clarity could be forced by reason alone. But the heart does not speak the language of arguments. It listens to movement, to breath, to presence. In these 2 chapters, you will discover a path that does not require any previous knowledge of Shaolin arts. It is a simple return to the intelligence of the body. Through climbing a rock face, we learn how to stay focused when the mind wants to collapse. Through standing firm in the current of a river, we learn how to remain still when emotion tries to pull us away. These are not metaphors. They are experiences, physical anchors that teach the heart how to remain open, steady, and whole. There is a moment in these teachings where I stand on top of a cliff, breathing with the wind. In that silence, I call upon a presence, not as worship, not as imitation, but as remembrance. The image of Omram Mikhail Ivanov appears before me, a symbol of clarity, of integrity, of a human being who walked this earth without violence, without manipulation, rooted in the living essence of wisdom. His image reminds me that stability is not a gift, it is a practice. You are invited to experience this path not as theory, but as a journey. Let the body show the mind what balance feels like. Let the breath return you to yourself, and allow the heart to find again its natural stillness, unforced, unshaken, and deeply alive.
Chapter 5. Act 13, The Silent Ascent. The sun was only just beginning to crest the jagged peaks of Ardèche, casting long golden tendrils through the dissipating morning mist. The village of Dunière lay undisturbed in the valley below, its quiet stillness mirroring the breath of the land itself. Above it all, I stirred. A lone figure preparing for an ascent not dictated by necessity, but by an unspoken call, a moment of communion between body, mind, and nature. As I sat in the stillness of the early morning, my thoughts turned to Kinniku. Her progress over the past months had been extraordinary. Watching her grow, her movements gaining grace and power, her spirit shining with quiet determination, had been like witnessing a sunrise. There was a beauty in her evolution, an innocence wrapped in strength, radiating a warmth that filled me with a sense of pride and inspiration. Yet I was cautious, mindful of the subtle dangers that admiration could bring. It had to remain pure, untainted by anything darker. What I saw in Kinniku was light itself, a beacon of radiant energy and tenderness. She was a source of vitality, a reminder of the power of dedication and authenticity. This light could inspire, propel me forward, but only if I nurtured it with the same reverence I brought to the practices that shaped my life. It was with these thoughts that I turned toward the cliff. The ascent would be an embodiment of this clarity, a deliberate act to channel the light I felt into something tangible, to transform inspiration into action.
We are warriors, warriors of love, fighting with the light from the stars above.
This climb would not merely be a trial of body and will, but a meditation, a dedication to the radiance that urged me to rise.
No fear, no chains, we rise, we stand, for love, for truth, for this holy land.
I stepped forward without hesitation, my decision not premeditated, but arising from an inner necessity.
See the deer run free through light, grace over the spirits fly.
The cliff loomed before me, sharp and imposing, its rugged face etched with crags and crevices that seemed to whisper secrets of the earth's timeless resilience.
We are warriors, warriors of love.
The ascent began not with a rush of thought, but with a surrender to the body's wisdom. My hands moved instinctively, finding holds as if guided by an ancient memory. My feet pressed against the stone, their placement precise, deliberate. Each movement was an expression of freedom, a seamless flow, unencumbered by doubt or hesitation. The rhythm of the climb became a dance, a silent choreography between man and mountain. As I ascended, my awareness dissolved into the present moment. The rock's cool texture beneath my fingertips, the whisper of the wind against my skin, the steady cadence of my breath, all merged into a single, harmonious experience. The discipline I had cultivated in freediving rose to meet me, the control of breath that had carried me into the depths now guiding me skyward. Inhale, anchor, exhale, release. The mountain became my mirror, reflecting a state of pure being. At last, I reached the summit. The horizon unfurled before me in waves of green forest, an endless expanse vibrating with life. Standing there, I let the fullness of the moment wash over me, the burning in my muscles mingling with the exhilaration of triumph. Yet this was no triumph over the mountain. It was a victory of alignment, of harmony between my inner and outer worlds. I dropped into a stillness that mirrored the view. Slowly, I began to flow through a sequence of Tai Chi movements, each gesture as deliberate as the climb. My arms carved through the air like streams weaving through stone, my breath setting the pace. With each motion, I felt my energy shift, my awareness deepening. The mountain seemed to breathe with me, its vastness lending a quiet strength to my movements. At the apex of this meditative state, the memory of my lost master surfaced. It struck not as a sharp pain, but as a gentle wave, rippling through the calm I had cultivated. I had never prayed for him, for death to me was a passage rather than an end. Yet here, at this pinnacle, I felt compelled to speak, not in grief, but in gratitude and seeking.
Dear Master, Omram Mikhail Ivanov,
I whispered, the wind carrying my words into the vast sky. You taught me not just how to move, but how to be. Your wisdom shaped my path, and now that you have crossed into another realm, I rejoice for you.
Though my master's gone, his presence stays with me.
Yet, how will I guide my students without your counsel? How will I answer their questions without your guiding hand?
Guiding every breath in secret harmony.
The wind responded with a soft murmur, an echo of something I already knew. In the stillness, the answer emerged not as a revelation, but as a truth long held within. I will manage on my own, I said softly. Your teachings live within me, and in the love I give my students, your wisdom endures.
It is a secret between my soul and his, a flame unseen, but always here.
I remained there for a while longer, the vast solitude enveloping me like a silent embrace. The practice of breath and movement gave way to simple presence, each inhalation, a thread connecting me to the mountain, to the memory of my master, to the life teeming below. When I finally descended, it was by an easier path, the steep cliffs left behind like a chapter closed. This climb, this communion, was mine alone. It would remain unspoken, not out of secrecy, but reverence. Some moments belong to the heights, to the unyielding cliffs and the vast silence of the skies. They are understood only by those who dare to ascend not to conquer, but to connect. And so the summer began, with the silent ascent marking its dawn, a prelude to the lessons, challenges, and discoveries yet to come.
Though my master's gone, his presence stays with me, guiding every breath in secret harmony. His spirit is always with what?
Chapter 5. Act 3. The whirlpools of the Dunière. The roar of the water echoed through the valley. The Dunière River, swollen by recent rains, snaked forcefully between rocks, creating unpredictable whirlpools. The air was cool, saturated with penetrating humidity, and every step along the bank promised a challenge. Kiniku, today we're going to walk through this river, I said, my eyes fixed on the churning water. Pierre, seated on a rock above, watched silently, his leather notebook open and ready to capture the moment in his writings. I stepped into the water, my feet instinctively searching for a stable balance on the slippery stones. The current was strong, but I remained undeterred, every movement calculated and fluid. You see, Kiniku, I said, raising my voice to carry over the sound of the water, this river represents life. It's full of whirlpools and unpredictable currents trying to unbalance you. But if you stay centered, if you keep your mind steady, you'll cross without difficulty. I completed my crossing, reaching the other bank without a single misstep, and motioned for Kiniku to join me. Kiniku stepped forward with determination. Her muscles tense. But as soon as she set foot in the water, the current destabilized her. She slipped, lost her balance, and was carried a few meters downstream before grabbing onto a submerged tree. "Come back and try again," I called out calmly.
もう一度お願いします。
She murmured, returning to her place on the bank. Pierre, fascinated, jotted down every detail, his eyes alight with enthusiasm.
This exercise is incredible.
He said softly.
A living metaphor. I must include it in my story.
Despite multiple attempts, Kiniku was still carried away by the current, each time a little farther. But she always returned, her eyes filled with determination.
I don't understand, E.G.
She said, breathless after her 10th attempt.
How do you stay so stable?
I approached her and placed a hand on her shoulder. It's not a matter of strength, but of listening. Feel the current, don't fight it, adapt to it. By becoming one with the water, you'll find your stability. The day drew to a close, and the cold began to set in. We were soaked and freezing, so I gathered some branches to light a fire on the bank. The flames danced, casting shifting shadows on the surrounding rocks. Pierre leaned toward the fire, warming his hands, while Kiniku, wrapped in a blanket, stared at the flames, her mind still absorbed in the day's exercise. After a moment of silence, I pulled a flute from my bag. Its melodic sound filled the air, blending with the crackling of the fire and the murmuring of the river. The tune was both soft and powerful, conveying the day's emotions through its notes. Kiniku closed her eyes, letting the music soothe her aching muscles and restless mind.